All right, guys, so we have a test coming up. Here is the test review. I'm not going to do every question. I may split this up into two videos, but I'll get some heavy ones that are on the test. So let's look at the first ones. It says, write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. And guys, we have to remember what slope-intercept form is. It's on your formula sheet. Y equals mx plus b, okay? So, and when we finish, all our answers should be y equals mx plus b in some form or another. So let's look at the first one. It says we got a slope of 2 and a y-intercept of 3. Well, we know that slope is the same as m, so I know m equals 2, and y-intercept is the same as b, and it equals 3. So we can just plug those into y equals mx plus b, and we've got our answer. So it's y equals mx, so 2x, plus b, so plus 3. So over here in our answer, we have y equals 2x plus 3. So that's a pretty quick and easy one, guys. There will be one like that on the test, so you should not mess that one up. So let's look at the next one. It's a little bit more involved. It says we want the equation of a line passing through the points -2, 8 and 1, 2. So I'm going to go ahead and write that I have an x1 and a y1 and an x2 and a y2, okay? Because I need to find the slope. The slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So the first thing we have to do, guys, is find the slope. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to take my y2, -3, and I'm going to subtract my y1, which is 8. I'm going to divide that by, oh, I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong problem for a second there. Go back. All right, I'm going to take my y2, which is 2, and I'm going to subtract my y1, which is 8, divided by x2, which is 1, minus my x1, which is -2. So guys, we have a subtracting a negative, we got a boom boom. 2 minus 8 is -6, 1 plus 2 is 3, so I can simplify that and I get -2 is my m value. So now that I have my slope, I have a point, I can put it in my point slope form. If you don't remember, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. All we've got to do is plug our numbers in. We've got our m, it's -2. We've got an x1 and y1 right here. So let's plug all that stuff in. So I have y minus my y1, which is -2. So I got to, golly, I did it again. Y minus y1, which is 8, equals my slope, -2, times x minus x1, which is -2. So I have a boom boom. Now I need to distribute my -2 over my parentheses. So I get y minus 8 equals -2 times x is -2x. -2 times 2 would be -4. All I have to do now is isolate y by adding 8 to both sides. When you do that, you get -2x. Oh, I'm sorry. How about y equals -2x. -4 plus 8 would be +4. So it takes a little bit of work, guys, but if you take it slow and in pieces, it's really not a tough problem. Let's look at number 3. This one is the exact same as the last problem, but they're trying to confuse you by saying we have an x-intercept of -4 and a y-intercept of -3, but you need to remember, the x-intercept means y is 0, so my point is -4, 0. Y-intercept means x is 0, so the point 0, -3. So I have x1, y1, and I have, sorry, it kind of ran in here, x2, y2. So the same thing we did on the last one we need to do here, we need to find m. So I'm going to take y2 minus y1, -3 minus 0, x2 minus x1, 0 minus -4. So I got another boom boom. -3 minus 0 is -3, 0 plus 4 is 4. So my slope is -3 over 4. Now if you notice, they gave us the y-intercept again, which we know is actually b, and it looks like it equals -3. So you could go through, use your y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1 and do the same thing we did on the last problem. But if you realize they gave us the y-intercept, we can plug it into y equals mx plus b. If I do it that way, I get y equals, well, my slope was -3 over 4, x, and the y-intercept is -4, so -3 is what I mean to say. No, -4, I'm sorry. Oh, nope, it is -3. Sorry about that, guys. Got that a little mixed up there because our y-intercept is 3, so it's -3. So there you go, guys. You got to be careful. Even I can make mistakes and plug in the wrong things, so check yourself. Those 3 problems should not be that big of a deal. So the next few are similar to what we've already done, like number 4. All you've got to do, they give us a slope, they give us an x1, y1, so we can plug that into our point slope form again, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So similar thing, shouldn't be too big of a problem. Number 5, you've got to remember, guys, what kind of line has a slope of 0? Well, a slope of 0 comes from a horizontal line. Put an H there. And if it's horizontal, that means it's y equals. Well, they only gave us one y value, so our equation must be y equals 8. So, guys, remember, horizontal lines have a slope of 0. Vertical lines, which are x equals, have an undefined slope. So when you're doing one of these, just write the correct variable and set it equal to whichever one they gave you. So let's go on to the next one. This again is just like number 4. We use the y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Plug it in and solve. It should be pretty easy, except for, remember, it's the x-intercept, so y is 0. So my point is actually 3, 0. So be careful there. And the last one on this, a vertical line. Well, the second you see vertical line, you should think x equals. The only x value they gave me is -1. So my answer is x equals -1. So, guys, first page, not too bad. Just make sure and take your time. Let's go to the next page real quick. Number 8 is also a pretty quick one. If you remember, horizontal lines are always y equals. The only y value they gave me was 4, so my answer is y equals 4. And guys, those are quick, easy questions. You got to be careful. Now the next ones, we're talking about parallel and perpendicular, and you've got to remember, when lines are parallel, I'm going to write it right here, parallel lines have equal slope. So if I have a line that's parallel to y equals 2x minus 4 and goes through point 1,5, I need to recognize that I'm going to use the exact same slope. The slope in this one is 2, so the slope I'm going to use is also 2. Now, if it wasn't solved for y, like if it was like 2x minus 4y equals 6, you'd have to solve it for y to find your slope. Now, they also gave me the point 1,5. Well, that's x1, y1. So now again, we can use the y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So fill it in. You should be able to get that one. Perpendicular, a little bit more difficult. I'm going to write this over to the side. If you have perpendicular, then your slopes, you have opposite reciprocal slopes. Now remember, opposite refers to the sign in front of it. If it was negative, we make it positive. If it's positive, we take it and make it negative. Reciprocal would be to flip your fraction. So if we look at this first one here, the slope that they give us is 3. Well, I need the opposite of negative, so that's positive. And remember, if you have -3, that's the same as -3 over 1. So we have positive, and the reciprocal is 1 over 3. Now, there's a couple of ways you could do this next one. You could just say, okay, that's x1, y1. We've got our m over here. We can plug it right into y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. But if you notice, they also gave us the point that is the y-intercept. So they did tell us that b equals 2. So you could use that in the slope to write your equation as well. Let's look at number 11 and 12 real quick. These are the ones where you have to draw a picture, guys, and you have to know the x-axis is horizontal, the y-axis is vertical. They want a line that is parallel to the x-axis. Well, a line that's parallel to the x is a horizontal line. If you remember earlier, we said horizontal lines are always y equals. Well, the only y value they gave us was 5, so the equation that's parallel to the x-axis that goes to that point is y equals 5. If we look at the next one, again, it's parallel to the y-axis. I'm going to draw my axis. It's parallel to y, so that means it's got to be vertical. If you remember from the last one, that means it's x equals. Well, the only x value they gave me was -3, so it's x equals -3. Let's go down a little bit further. Let's see. We did 11 and 12, 13 and 14, same sort of thing. Sketch your x-y axis, draw your line, and it should tell you whether it's x equals or y equals. Let's look at number 15. Now, actually, guys, let's call that the end of this video. It's about 10 minutes, so we'll call it quits. I will do the standard form stuff on the next one.